innumerable nice things to say about you yesterday. What's your relationship like with him? How long does that go back?
Well, he's, in this profession we're in, you have acquaintances, and then you have friends, and then you have true friends. I mean, he's a true friend that I've known for so long. See, the first time I met him, he was working at the Pitt basketball camp. He's from Lenore, Ryan. He had long hair, and he had a tossback in the back seat of his VW, and he would go camp to camp, and that was his station. He'd teach wherever camp he was at. He did it. You're talking about a guy that worked through the ranks from being an assistant with some great coaches to being at George Mason. They forget he was there for a while. Going to Providence, going to Clemson, and then getting the opportunity at Texas. But he's never changed who he is. He's always been somebody that I could call on. We bounce ideas. One of the best things I did when I was coaching UMass, I called him one day and I said, I call him Ricky B. I said, Ricky B, our defense is so bad. And it was my first year. We gave up 100 points like 7 times, led the nation in giving up 100. I said, tell me what you think I should do. He goes, well, tell me what you're emphasizing. And so I had to act like I was real smart. I was like 28, 29 years old. And I gave him like 20 things. I just kept talking. He let me talk. He said, well, if that's what you're emphasizing, that many things, that's why you stink defensively. He said, you need to emphasize 4 things. And from that point on, I've only emphasized 4 things on defense. And we've become a pretty good defensive team. But he's somebody that, like I said, he's one of those good guys, and we'd be friends if we weren't in coaching, if I knew him and all those things. And terrific basketball coach, battler. You watch how hard his teams play, they always do. Doesn't get caught up in the minutia of this stuff, the back and forth, the he say, she say. He doesn't deal with it. He just coaches basketball. He's a basketball Benny, loves the game. If I feel like talking basketball, I call him, and I know we can spend a half hour talking ball.
He said he was buttering you up yesterday with all those compliments to ask you for a big favor. Has he asked it yet? No, he's one of those guys that, now how many times, like a lot of us in this profession, we're afraid to talk nice about another coach because it may help his recruiting. You have some guys that think, there's only so much oxygen, I got to get mine. I mean, it's just, he gets it. And I appreciate what he did. He didn't need to. And let me say it to everybody. It's not as good as it seems, but I'm not as bad as they tell you either. Probably in the middle somewhere what I am. He did say that you couldn't guard him as a player. Is that how you remember?
Probably, but he couldn't play either. So there were 2 of us. I couldn't guard him, and he still couldn't make a basket.
Did you guys ever play a home and home with him?
I think we did a home and home. I would do a home and home with Texas. We don't have room right now, but I would do it because of him. I mean, but we did play it. We did go home and home with him when I was at Memphis, and they beat us both games.
What do you think of the challenge, John, of having a team as big as you guys and can stand up to you?
And they run. They fly up and down the court. They've got good scores. They've got great length, and they run good stuff. It's going to be a hard game for us.
With the platoon system and 7, players getting 7 minutes at a time, how are they making that work? I mean,
They're doing good. They're doing good. I mean, what you're finding out is this doesn't hurt any players. It's helping players. Now, that may not be the case any other time, but what you have are 2 really good point guards. You got size on both teams, and they're starting to figure each other out. Offensively, we're at about 50 to 60% capacity right now. We're just not there. Defensively, I would guess we're 70 to 80% there, but we're still not where we could be in either area. But offensively, we're behind where we are defensively.
Do you still like those 5s, the 5 you're starting with in your second?
I messed around this week, and I didn't like what I tried, so we're going to stick with where we are. But I did mess around, and mainly to see if it helps individuals
being on a different group. And it just, I'm good where we are.
Was some of that to maybe motivate as well?
No,
Did that-
no. No, they're motivated. It's mainly that, my one thing is, how do I keep these guys engaged? What do I do to keep them engaged to where we're trying to move forward, where we keep thinking of ways to get them to think? This is a really smart basketball team. This is a really driven basketball team. This is a really competitive basketball team. So why not use all those things to keep us stepping forward? And again, nothing would be better for us than having a team like Texas come in here and hit us right in the mouth. We need to know when a team comes in and scores their first 8 times, 10 times down the floor, making tough shots, and we're missing open shots. How do we respond? Are we still tough? Are we still having fun? Are we still playing together? Those kind of those things are out in front of us yet.
Andrew said that playing smaller teams, your big guys either get calls against them or don't get calls because they're just, by virtue of being so much bigger, and in a game like this, they might welcome playing guys their own size.
Well,
they can just play.
I think we'd rather play against smaller guys, but that may be the case. I'm just looking for our guys. There's not a player on this team I'm asking to do something they can't do. Now, it may be hard, and they may want to do something else, but what we're asking each of these guys to do, they can do.
John, what are you looking for in another 40% offensively?
Well, playing harder cuts, better screens, better execution, flying down the court so we can get some easy baskets. And I ask you, if we're stopping people 30% of the time, that means 70% of the time we're on a rebounded break or a steal going the other way, or a block going the other way. So we should be scoring at least 25% of those, and we're not. So that's one thing, that's one area. The other area is simply, how are we playing? Are we playing the right way? I'm taking every clip of different offenses that we're running to see if it's effective for this team. I told you, we're going to learn. I'm learning. One group may run better playing this way. Another group may be better playing this way. So we'll do whatever the teams need us to do.
What challenge does Miles Turner present?
Terrific player. Long, skilled, good around the basket, good open shooter, make free throws, can really pass. He's a good player, really good player.
How do you get your guys to match an opponent's, intensity, energy to start a game?
That's the player's responsibility. So hopefully they get it. Every game we play, people are jacked up to be playing and playing here.
We got a different player to step up each game and lead and scoring. Is there a certain player that's going to have a breakout game eventually?
Well, what'll happen is that, they're feeding off one another. The numbers are so close, from minutes to shots to field goal percentage defense to rebound margin to points. They're so close. And that one game, the white team really was not that good. And then one team, the blue team, wasn't that good. They're kind of feeding off each other. And we haven't had that breakout offensive game yet. See, I'm trying to explain to them, if you play better offense, it makes your defense even better because it puts more pressure on the other team to make baskets against a really good defense. So if you can go down and really execute 10 straight times down the floor, and they're trying to hold the ball to get a shot in a late shot clock, just put a lot of pressure on that team. But you got to play good offense too. If you want to be a world-class team, you're not going to do it just on one end. You got to have both. Your offense has to be good, and your defense has to be good.
If you're picking one at this time of year, you glad you're not harping on defense right now?
I am harping on defense, to be honest with you, but no, we give problems because of the mismatches. That's the issue we've had right now.
What have you told Andrew about his offense?
Well, Andrew's got a tough job because he's on a unit. There are times he's got to score. But if that's how he plays, then he's hurting himself and hurting our team. But he has to score too. And there are times in the game that he just got to go get a bucket because we're dying. One guy got his head down, another guy's thinking wrong, and all of a sudden the guy's fading in the post. Well, then go get a couple buckets because Andrew can score. Andrew could get 20 a game. I mean,
scoring, shooting, free throws, layups, you get 20 a game. But if he's our leading scorer, we're not winning. But there are games that he must be our leading scorer, and he's got to feel it. It can't be me telling him. I even told Willie, tell him, Willie, if there comes a point where you know, Willie, we're out here dying, Andrew, go get some shots. Get us a couple baskets. So he's got a tough job, but he is so much better than a year ago, and so is his brother. His brother not shooting it great, but it doesn't matter. I'm not worried about it. He's probably spent a little more time in the gym. But he's, you know, my issue is not, for each individual, what can I give them to make them a little bit better? What are we doing that offensively that we can do better or different to make us more effective?
You said you wanted Andrew to be a playmaker defensively. He's got half as many steals already as he had all of last year in limited minutes. What's he doing differently in that regard?
It's, again, coaching. I'm telling him how to do it. I mean, I'm not, please don't, what I'm basically saying, you can't blame him if I haven't coached him. If I don't teach somebody how to do something and they're not doing it, you can't blame them. So, but I will say this, in my defense, until he played with great energy and fight, you couldn't worry about the next level. Now he's playing with unbelievable energy. He's playing pick and roll defense well. Now the next level for him, is he a playmaker? Does he have steals, deflections, blocks? Well, last year he didn't have many. Now all of a sudden we're talking about it, we're emphasizing it, we're showing him in practice where he has opportunities, and he's a really bright kid, he's doing it. So I don't blame him last year. I mean, we literally never got to the point to show him and teach him about being a defensive playmaker. We didn't.
Last question, Marcus Lee recently and maybe what he needs to improve on.
Well, the good news is I looked out my window. He was in the gym an hour early today. I mean, that's part of what he's got to do, and he's got to add that 13 to 14-foot game to where we can throw it to him. You can't have a bunch of guys out there that are not guarding. You can't really play offense if that's the case. And then he's got to be an energy guy. When he walks in, there's got to be a buzz in the building about his energy and his athleticism and his length. And look at this guy. He can't ever be like down. His skill will be that as much as anything else. But like I said, I'm happy with all these guys. And, you know, yesterday, the practice was okay. It was good. Wasn't one of our best, but it was good. But we haven't had a bad practice. Like, even the practices are from good to, oh my gosh, that's where they're falling right now. And there have been some, oh my goodness, let's just stop. Let's get out. I don't expect them to be playing like it's January right now, especially offensively. We haven't figured it out yet, but I just want to see great energy. Thanks.
Yeah, there it is. Good phone.